So what's going on here is fairly straightforward. This is my gear shifter from my Kawasaki Ninja ZX6, which is clamped in place to a scaffold frame, under which is a butane torch going at a controlled height, little pieces of wood to shim it up closer, because I really don't want to blister out the surface on the shifter, melt it and drip it, you know, in small blister spots. I want to heat it evenly. Why I'm heating, of course, because I bent it. I dropped the bike. I was trying to go through a parkade where there's a bar gate that comes down, and the bar gate went up, and I was carrying in the backpack a long piece of wood which got caught in the bar gate's edge above, and well, anyhow, this got bent. What I'm doing is fairly straightforward, of course. I removed all the other shifter components, and I'm heating it up to approximately, let's see, what temperature are we at? Aluminum melts, or aluminium depending on what market you're in, melts around 600. I really don't want to get close higher than 400. And all I need is just a little bit of, you can see it's around 150 here. And what's smoking, if you can see some smoke rising, is there is lubricant inside these ball joints there, so that's missing from that end, and is still attached there. And when it's gonna be straight is fairly straightforward. I have here a handy dandy square with which I can check its squareness, which is a little bit out. You can see it at the end there, and you can see it. How do I show this to you? Well, if you were above it, I don't want to put the camera directly above the heat, if you don't mind, and above the flame, but you get the idea. I can see it's not square with the tool that I have. And at this point, aluminum is going to be melting or moving enough to make it nice at around 150. Let's see how we're doing. That's not bad in this direction. I'm gonna heat a little bit here. I will show you this while I repositioned. Actually, I'm gonna get this out of the way for, where do I put it? I'm gonna put it here, where there's nothing directly above the flame. It's a little bit out of square here, just to put back. Okay, we're gonna look at it this way. Okay, I think thereabouts. Now you can see what I see. So just the under the foot peg is a little bit out of square, so this is gonna have to go in that way a little bit. Give me a few minutes, and it bends fairly well at around infrared temperature measurement. Okay, and it bends at around 150 fairly nicely, so it's not cracking, and that's really important. And I'm gonna allow it to cool, so the crystal growth is slow and gradual, and large crystals grow. I want this to not be tempered. I don't want this to snap, just in case I drop the bike again. I want it to be maybe ductile. I just can't get around that word. It has to bend and deform without breaking. I don't want it brittle, so I need large grains. I don't want to dunk it in water, because that makes small metal grains and freeze the metal structure, the crystal lattices, into some tight small crystal lattice variant. I'm about at 100 and something degrees there at the corner here. Temperature keeps rising, of course. Let's give it a little tug. It's not gonna be spectacular, by any stretch of imagination. It just has to be enough without breaking. I think I'm happy with this result there. Let's check it. Oh yeah, turned off. I think this is gonna pass at Misano. There, that's pretty good. That's I think this is Valentino Rossi material here. Nice and even. Alright, I'll try not to drop it again, because it's not much of a hassle, but it's a little bit nerve-wracking. Alright, so that's how a shifter gets straightened instead of replaced for who knows what dealer might be charging for a casting, simple casting like this. I don't know, 50, 80, 100 something dollars. So cost cutting with without structural damage. If anything, if there were ever some hairline cracks, this heat allows grain growth in the metal, and not going to be healing itself entirely if there are cracks in it already, but they can eventually, as it continues being heated up, which I'm not continuing, but if the heating of a metal continues, grain growth will eventually end up in liquefaction, at which all cracks disappear. So I'm gonna go with straightening before I buy new shifter. So there you have it. That's my story with the shifter.